Okay, welcome to Video Journalism Current Affairs this time around, and we're talking about advanced filming and starting to put the program together. But we're going to talk more about the assessment item and um, and a hands-on approach to filming and editing, mainly filming at this stage because I think that's where we need some work. So I'm going to go back a little bit to the basic filming we talked about in week 3. Camera is the eye to the viewer. It tells a story. So just remember the camera is your eye. So people that are watching this story are watching it through your view. Okay. And just remember sound is needs to be between -12 and -6. So keep it at -9 for safety. And just most importantly, keep it all at the same level. You can do all that as well in post-production as well. And we've gone through this previously, so you can go back to the tutorials and have a look through that. Make sure you check your levels when you're recording in manual mode, and please use auto if you don't know how to use the manual settings or you haven't practiced enough, because it's better to have some sound that's not good than no sound at all, and it's happened before. So I've got 3 little links here to videos on filming behind the camera or a video journalist, Mojo journalism or mobile journalism, which is basically using your mobile phone, and also how to present in front of a camera or a piece to camera, because you need to do all that for your assessment items. Now I'm just going to go back and go through our course content, and I'm going to go through the assessment item, and I've had a student ask me to go through my other resources folder as well, because I've put a lot of good stuff in there for you that will really help you with this course. Okay, so let's just go back to the course. Okay, so we're in our course here, True Stories Video Journalism, in the other resources folder. Now I've got a whole heap of good stuff in here for you. So I've got a news template from the Northcliffe Rescue that I've put together for you, an example of a Channel 9 script. So if you follow those for your news story, you will have absolutely no problem. Now all you need to do for your current affairs story is basically expand on that. Okay, so use the same format and just expand on it. Now, I've also got a shot list template so you can practice your shot list, the building blocks of a news story, and I'll go through that in a second. The pitching ideas, I did ask you to go through and watch current affairs stories and put it in the discussion board, but as yet no one's actually put anything on the discussion board, so I can't give you any feedback on your stories or on the pitching. What equipment to use? Now, if you're external, you are an external student or an online student, you need to have at least decent equipment to get the job done. Now you can use your mobile phone, and today I'm going to show you how to use the mobile phone, or at least I'll show you a video clip that can teach you how to use it. And I highly recommend a tripod, but if you can borrow one, that's even better. Now, to be a professional video journalist, you'll need to learn how to use an external mic as well. And this paper template here, which I put together for you, basically gives you a complete overview. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? Something's forbidden. What's going on? Why don't we do it? Okay, well, the good thing is that I've already got it open for you. Okay, script template for TV news stories. Okay, so in here, also a few people have asked me the 1 to 2 sentence introduction. That's the presenter's cue. Okay, this is what the anchor reads. I'll just write it down for you. This is what the news anchor reads before the package is played. Now, I think one of the problems is people aren't watching enough news to understand the format of how a news story is put together. So please watch the Channel 7, 9, 10 news, or even on ABC at 6 o'clock, okay? That will show you exactly how it's put together. Now, if you just want to watch a current affairs story, just watch a current affair on Channel 9 after that. You can go online and see it all as well, but if you're learning about this, you need to know what's happening here, so please go and watch it. Now, last week I also showed you where to watch current affairs programs, so please do that as well. So I've done this for you. That's a presenter's cue. This is what the news anchor reads when the package is played. Okay. Here's the script. When we ask you for the script, that's where the script is. The shot list and the action, that's the footage log basically. Okay, and I might just put this action plus timing maybe. Okay, that'll make it easier. Action plus timing. All right. So, and these are the paragraphs. So, and I've shown you here example only. Add your own description for each paragraph. Now, WS is a wide shot to establish a story, plus close-up of the Gold Coast beaches is for an example. And I'll go through the other list, the shot list in a second, because the Americans sometimes change these WSs and CUs to something slightly different. So I've in here, rather than writing the script, and if you want to, you just go back to my other scripts, the Channel 9 ones for instance, or the Northcliffe one, and the script's exactly how it is written online or in the actual story. But what I've done is broken down where everything goes. So I've written down, so this paragraph is the lead and introduces and summarizes your story. So that's what this paragraph should be. The second paragraph, it starts to give you the first point of view and introduces your first source and their relevance to the story. Remember, all these paragraphs are meant to give the viewer the important information like who, when, why, where, and how, and in sequence to your story. Okay? So that, as you can see, voiceover. VO is voiceover. VO2, that's my second voiceover. INT is interview, so this is interview 1. This should be one point of view framed correctly. Provide a quote from your first interview source. This will be a soundbite. Okay, so you only need a little grab for your interview source. Okay, you go back to a voiceover. Again, add a variety of shots to tell the story and add color. For instance, a wide shot all the way to an extreme close-up. Use pans, tilts, still shots, and zooms. The next paragraph backs up what is being suggested by the interviewee and your further research into the topic. Okay? This paragraph continues with the point of view above and starts to shift to an opposing or different point of view. This paragraph highlights the different point of view and introduces your next source. I'm still telling you, add a variety of shots to tell the story. And these are all overlays. As you can see, voiceover 4, paragraph 6. So we go into the second interview. Okay? Provide a quote from your second interview source. This is a soundbite, usually from an opposing view or a different perspective from the first interview. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be an opposing view. Sometimes it can be a different perspective. Okay, and depending on the news style it is. Okay, so you go into your next voiceover. Now there's a vox pop. Vox pop is just the voice of the people. If you want another interview, but it's not essential, but add it in. Now for your current affairs story, I suggest at least 4 people interviewed. You can have it character driven by a single person, but we need lots of voices in here. Okay, and I go through all these sort of things. You can read through. I won't read them word for word. Okay, this is a piece to camera, PTC, and we'll be talking about that in a second. It's a piece to camera. This is an opportunity for you to present a sentence or two about the story with you in the picture. Now, this is a very important part of news production. If you've been doing the readings, you'll understand that celebrity is part of the news as well, okay? Even news stations need you to watch their news because that's where the most advertising revenue is. So if they can see that you're a good presenter and you're doing your job well, you become part of the news story, okay? And I wrote this script while I was working at Griffith University, so I'm adding it here for you guys, so that's why it's got reporting for Griffith University News, but you will be writing reporting for Southern Cross News. Cross University News. So as you can see, I can edit this template whenever I like, and that's how I've built it for you, so it's nice and easy to use, okay? So we can see add a variety of shots to tell your story and add color. Wide shot to extreme close-up, that's WS to ECU. Okay, now I'm going to go back in and go up to this little shot list exercise. Let's see. Okay, it's not letting me in for some reason. What have I done? Okay, I'll just see if I can sign in again. Yes, I will. Okay, so I just had to sign in again for some reason. Anyway, so this is the shot list exercise. So the aim of this exercise is to practice all the types of shots, movements, and angles to tell the story visually. Okay, and we've got lots of stuff. So interviews, extreme wide shot, So let's put this down. Extreme wide shot. A very wide shot. Wide shot. Mid shot. Medium close up. Close up. Extreme close up. This is a cut away. Okay, and a cutaway is any one of these shots really. Okay, it's a piece to camera. This is the voice of the people. Random interviews, generally on the street. Okay, so that's what all these shots are. Now, if I just quickly go back to my PowerPoints, I also have week 3 in here. Okay, and the reason I'm going to week 3 is that we talked about panning and tilting, zooming, and I gave you some tips on it as well. And these are the shots, okay? Extreme close-up, big close-up, medium close-up, medium shot, medium long shot, very long shot, and long shot. Okay, so I threw those in, and as you can see, there are slightly different words for them, but they all mean the same. Now, the idea of this is that all these shots are based on a human, okay? So a long shot means the whole length of the human being, okay? Medium close-up means it's a medium close-up of the person's face, where a close-up's the whole head, okay? A mid-shot is half the person, okay? And then the very long shot and extreme close-up are the two extremes, okay? So a very long shot or an extreme long shot, depending on which terminology you're using, just means a wide shot that's establishing where you are, setting time, place, and circumstance. An extreme close-up is when you're trying to get extreme emotion out of the person's face. Okay, so we talked about that in week 3, so it's just a bit of a revision. Remember to shoot in your rules of thirds. So we want people to be intersecting the horizontal and the vertical thirds, all the important bits. So that person's on the left-hand third, which is points of interest. Okay, and we talked all about all that sort of stuff in week 3, so you can go back through and just check all that listing in week 3. So we'll just go back to, so when we go back into our unit information guide and go into our unit content, even though we're week 10, the topic's topic 9, okay, so there's lots of good stuff here for us. The readings, objectives, learning activities, shooting on the run, approaches to filming a piece to camera, so there's some links there as well. Okay, and I want you to watch these in your own time because we don't have enough time in the lecture to do it. There's another one from Monique Shafter to have a look at. Okay, it's only 4.5 minutes and it has more readings for you. And I've got a list as well. So if we go back into my notes here on the PowerPoint, okay, I've got more information here, putting a green screen together, motion templates, editing, all this sort of stuff. And that's me if you haven't seen me before. But I'm not going to go into that this week because I think we need to get our shooting and our content first before we start worrying about presenting behind a green screen and setting it all up. But that's basically just a little green screen that I set up in my little studio flat there. And as you can see, it's just a tripod, and that little thing there holds my mobile phone. So I shoot stuff on mobile phones these days, okay? So let's have a look at these. Let's go behind the camera first, and then we'll look at the rest after that, okay?
Being able to source, shoot, write and edit your own stories is no mean feat, but these skills are vital if you want to make it as a professional video journalist. We've caught up with Matt Danzico, journalist for BBC Pop-Up, to discover what the job is all about and how you can get started yourself.
So BBC Pop-Up is the company's first traveling bureau. Basically, it's a unit of video journalists that relocates to a new city every single month, where we bring residents of each town that we happen to be living in for that month out to a physical location, and they tell us what stories they want us to do as the BBC in that location, and then we try to make short, beautiful films about their suggestions for the BBC News website, for BBC World Television, for News Channel, for the app, for social media, for chat applications in Asia. We release our content in a myriad of different places. Being a video journalist is awesome because basically you are in complete control. When I go off in the morning to do a shoot, I'm by myself, and that allows me to basically dictate what happens during the shoot. No one tells me what shot I should get, what soundbite I should get. I am in utter and complete control, and that's basically why I enjoy being a video journalist. I mean, to be honest, I really, really love being out in the field. I don't like being in an office, and so I was either going to be a cameraman or a video journalist, but I happen to like video editing as well, so that's why I chose to be a VJ. I've always done videos since I was a kid. I started creating skateboard videos, right? So that's how I started in video, is I made skateboard videos, and then I got involved in news. I answered an ad on Craigslist, and I got a job as a newspaper reporter. But I saw that the newspaper industry was going down, and I wanted to be in the field more. And so I picked up a video camera again, but under a journalist role, and that's really how it all started. Is I quit my job as a newspaper reporter, and I began creating videos as a freelancer. No matter what the day is, I'm either trying to take photos or video that I find beautiful in some way, shape, or form, whether that's for a story or it's just for practice. So an average day as a video journalist means that you're going to do something that you've never done before first, right? Like every single day is new. Repetition does not exist for a video journalist. The only things that do exist that you find yourself doing daily are checking emails, checking Twitter, and for me, taking photos or video and practicing the art of filmmaking in some way, shape, or form, even if I don't have a story. Everything you want to learn about being a video journalist, you can learn on YouTube, right? So I'm a big advocate for self-learning. I think that anybody who wants to be a video journalist can be a video journalist. In fact, they could be one tomorrow. There are video tutorials literally for everything, for shooting, video editing, color grading, audio mixing. There's tutorials taught by 11-year-olds, really smart 11-year-olds on YouTube for absolutely everything. The person who's watching this video should immediately shut off this video and just watch one, because you can become a video journalist within 24 hours. If you take on the lessons of being a one-man band and learning yourself the processes of video journalism, you can do it in a much more efficient way than if you were taught through academia. So my advice to anyone looking to become a video journalist is to, one, watch a couple of videos, and then tomorrow go out and shoot. Don't wait and sign up for a class that will have you waiting weeks at least to start shooting. Just go out and start shooting, even on your phone. It is a competitive industry, but the tools are there. And not only that, if you contact a video journalist who you happen to like, who you happen to admire, more than likely they'll be willing to bring you out for the day and sort of teach you the ropes as well. So yeah, it's competitive, but there's a huge demand right now, and so it's a great area to be in the news, at least. I think that it's easy to become a video journalist with being able to access tutorials through YouTube and 1,000 other free learning tools online. It's easy to become one. You just got to purchase a camera, watch a few videos, and bam, you can edit together a video. It's extremely hard to become a good video journalist, right?
Okay, you got that point. It's easy to be a bad or just like an intro video journalist, but it's extremely hard to be a good one. Even this guy, if you look at the pictures, okay, his face is very red, so he hasn't got the right color temperature, and the audio is even a little bit hot, so it's bouncing a little bit. But the framing's excellent, and the background's excellent, and the content's excellent, and that's what we're looking for, essentially. Okay?
So good video journalists are basically good filmmakers, and it's filmmaking is something that takes a long time to develop. Video journalism is not, and so the challenges are learning how to take a beautiful shot rather than just any shot that you might see in a normal news package. And so those are the challenges. You can become an all-right video journalist very easily. I'm still trying to become a good one. Maybe one day I'll get there.
Okay. So as you saw there was lots of good content and lots of good tips on how to go about filming behind the camera. Okay, so in front of the camera. So let's just go to Mojo Journalism, because this is a way that you can all do it without any fancy equipment. Now, I use a DSLR, which is just like a photographic camera which shoots excellent video, but I also use my phone a lot, okay, because the phone shoots excellent pictures, but you still need to tell a story with your phone, okay? We still need nice, clear video footage. And just to tell you again, this guy's also got the color temperature wrong because his face is red as well. It should be correct skin tones. So you need to be careful with this sort of stuff. Even the YouTube clips that propose to do the good things are not necessarily the best.
Journalists and others can use to record, edit and share material. In this video, I'm going to share with you a number of tips that could help your recordings look and sound better. Here at the BBC, many of our journalists are using iPhones, and while this film looks at those devices in particular, a lot of the principles apply whichever smartphone you're using. So, whether you're using an Android, a Windows phone, or an iPhone, this first point is particularly important. Firstly, make sure your lens is clean. Use your shirt or a tissue, but often glasses cloth is best. You need to make sure your phone is in airplane mode before you start recording. Going into airplane mode is really important because it stops your device receiving a phone call. If it can get one while you're filming, it will interrupt you and you may not get a second chance to record. Video files can get very large very quickly, so check in your settings how much space you have available. Ideally, try to have at least half of your device's capacity spare. You can record more if you can reduce the resolution of your video. On some devices, this is just a case of going into your settings and dropping the resolution down. If your footage is for TV or online, then you'll want to record it horizontally. Indeed, for the BBC's news gathering app PNG, that's the only orientation it will support. But vertical framing is increasingly accepted and acceptable on smartphones, but the resulting footage is not so useful for the BBC's purposes. The phone will automatically adjust the focus and exposure based on what's in the scene, but you can get better results by taking control. Tap the screen to adjust the focus and exposure. Press and hold to lock in those settings. You'll see AE/AF lock displayed to confirm this. You can also move your finger up and down the screen to tweak the exposure even more precisely. Most smartphones will give you the option to zoom while you're recording your video, but this will degrade the picture quality, so it's usually much better to get closer to what you want to film, as long as it's safe to do so. If necessary, you can turn the light on when you're recording video, but be aware this will drain your battery quite considerably. If you're out and about shooting handheld without a tripod, a good way to ensure a stable shot is to bring your arms close in tight against your body. Or, if there's something suitable, lean against it to ensure that your shot is stable. And once there, keep filming each shot for about 10 to 15 seconds. On some phones, you can record video and take a photo at the same time. Here, tap the white circle in the bottom right-hand corner. If you ever need to record a piece to camera using the front-facing camera, make sure you look at the lens and not the screen to ensure you have the correct eye line. Getting good audio is vital for your video. The inbuilt microphone on most smartphones will be fine for ambient sound, but the closer you get to a guest or an interviewee, the better the audio will be. If you can, go somewhere quieter, or even ask the guest to speak a bit louder. Outdoors, wind noise can also pose something of a challenge. You can overcome many of these problems or challenges by using an external plug-in microphone or a clip microphone. This will give you much better audio, as long as you are using a mic with the right kind of connector. A cheaper alternative or emergency standby could be to use the microphone on your headphones that come supplied with most smartphones. Plug that in, and then you can use this microphone to get better audio and good framing. Bear in mind though, we took something of a risk here by plugging in the microphone after we'd started recording. It's usually far better to plug your microphone in first and then launch your video recording app. Make sure you know where the microphone is that records audio when you're recording video. On the iPhone, it's between the lens and the light, but whichever device you're using, find out where it is, but don't cover it with your hands. You have another couple of options when you're recording video. You could record slow motion videos and also time lapses. If you're a BBC journalist, the preferred way to record, edit and send your video is to use the internal only app PNG, Portable News Gathering. Using PNG will ensure you've got the correct frame rate for broadcast too. You could then save and file your recording directly into the newsroom systems. To take a shorter clip from your video, use the trim controls to isolate the area that you want to keep, and then save as a new clip. The shorter the video, the quicker it will be to send. When you're happy with your footage and are ready to share or send it, tap the box with the forwarding arrow to reveal the options available to you. Email is a simple way to send short pieces of video direct to colleagues back in the newsroom. Another option would be to upload your content straight to social networks or onto a cloud service. BBC journalists are currently using a number of third-party apps which can increase the quality of their video recordings, and other apps with which they can edit fully mixed packages. A smartphone has the potential to be a mobile news gathering device in your pocket. Explore, practice and get comfortable with many of these techniques, and you'll soon be able to record and share great material.
Okay, that was an excellent Mojo video. The only problem was his face was red, but that's okay. I use Filmic Pro, that little app that you saw as well, and you can edit on your phone if you like, but just remember that we have free editing apps on all Macs, which is iMovie, and I sent a list out a couple of weeks ago about free PC editing apps as well, so we've got lots of options. Okay, I'm not going to play this in front of the camera, piece to camera this week. I'll play that next week for you because I think there's too much for you at the moment. But please watch lots of current affairs and jump on the discussion board so I can give you some feedback or help you with your stories and we can go from there. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you next week.